I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
Happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand. These days.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
And if my day keeps going this way, I just might.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 205 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How is everyone doing this fine Monday evening? Well, technically still the afternoon, but we're here nonetheless. So thank you very much for coming along. And I was going to do the stream yesterday, but I had something else going on. So, of course, I had to postpone that for today. Despite the fact I was working today and I've been up early for it, I'm really tired. So, but I'm here anyway, and I'm going to be doing the show at the moment. And I think I've heard that I'm off work tomorrow anyway. At least I've not been told to come in or anything like that. So, because at my work at the moment, it's been pretty quiet for the past couple of weeks or so. And no work basically means pretty much no money when it comes to that. Well, I'll cover that more in a second or two. But thank you all very much for coming along. I think there's about 7 people watching just now, which is really good to see. In the chat, we've got Evola Sunglasses, Chaz Smash, Hazdak, Budgie Burger, and Tank the Lord. Thank you all very much for coming along and watching this great show. A show for nationalists by a nationalist, of course. So thank you all very much once again. So, yes, I'm sure people, well, I don't know if everyone has seen episode 204, which is the one I didn't do live because of circumstances with my guest. So on my channel just now, episode 204 is up at the moment. And I think it's gotten pretty good reviews so far. Even Donald Kent even enjoyed himself on the show and of course thanked me for having him on, which is really good to see. And of course a big shout out to Donald Kent once again. I don't know if you'll ever watch this episode, but again, thank you very much for coming along and being a guest on my show. Really good episode. I really enjoyed it. The editing process of the video wasn't exactly great, but that was because I tried to edit the episode on my computer, but of course my computer, as per usual, was acting incredibly flamboyant, if you will. So I had to do the editing process on my phone. So, which actually kind of worked out much better, considering the fact that it's my phone. I actually didn't think it would actually work out well as I thought it would. But hey ho! So yes, it's up. If you haven't seen it, it's up on my channel. I would advise maybe give it a watch afterwards if you want, or anything like that at all. But it's definitely up there. And with the episode with Donald Kent being, of course, the first American guest I've had on my show, we were mainly talking about nationalism and art because, as I mentioned on that episode, seems to be a bit of a somewhat of a controversy surrounding pop culture and art and all of that with when it comes to nationalism, the idea of like, well, how does this benefit us nationalists in any way, shape, or form? Well, I think there's an argument to be made that art or pop culture or anything like that at all, I think does play a significant role within society, because there is the old saying, art imitates life, or vice versa. And I think art, whether it's films or music or anything of the sort, does play a massive influence on society at the moment. Uh, Sorry, excuse me. After all, we're seeing what's going on with Hollywood and all the films that are coming out that are very anti-white and very globalist propaganda, if you will. I mean, it's just all over the place, and it's good to have Donaldkin on to again talk about art and nationalism and all of that. I have him give his perspective on the whole thing, which again was really enjoyable nonetheless. So it's really good to have him on. I hope to have him back on the show again at some point in the near future. He even said that he would like to have me on his show at some point, which of course I'm very down for that, because on that episode we talked about what he normally does, which of course he's an artist and he's also does a comic book work. And I said on that episode that I was kind of getting back into the idea of art myself, and even got myself my very own project I'm kind of working on at the moment. Still keeping it under wraps just now. I got three notebooks with, well, actually, no, sorry, two notebooks and one sketchbook, if you will. So just focusing on, well, if I have enough time, I do kind of focus that a bit and then just kind of work my way through it, kind of a thing. So it's still gonna be a bit of time before I'm officially happy with the whole thing, and then just kind of wait and see from there. So, and if I feel like I'm ready to show off my artwork to my colleagues or anyone like that, then I will do so. But only time will tell with that. Only time will tell. Now, I want to see if I can open. Actually, I need to get rid of that just now. Remove the studio. Also, because I'll be honest, right? I'm really tired when it comes to it. So, I might do the show tonight for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but we'll see how it plays out. Because I do have stuff to talk about, but again, I'll be honest. Again, I'm shattered to the point where even earlier today. I was even thinking about maybe canceling the show, maybe do it another time, maybe when I'm off. But I thought, no, I'll just do the show, just get out of the way, and then wait and see from there. So, but I'm okay now. We'll see that. Chaz Smash, do you use crayons? No. No, I don't use crayons. So, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah, support. Well, at least for my notes for the show. And then we'll get started. Let me see here. Should have had it open up before the show started, but of course, I had other things to do as well. So I've got that up here. I think those are things I'm going to be covering for today anyway. I think. No, that was to do with the last episode with Donald Kent. Right. Okay. Even then, I was planning on using Twitter for some of the stuff anyway, so I'll do that. Right, too short. Rory Herbert is in the chat. How you doing, Rory? Thank you very much. Oh, dear Chief Moody, did you hear that my elder daughter gave birth to twin daughters last Friday? I am now a grandfather. Exciting times. I actually was planning on mentioning that, Rory. Yes, but thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. But yes, also a big shout out to Rory Herbert, ladies and gentlemen, as he said in the chat. I believe it was a Telegram post from Laura's or somewhere like that. It was on Telegram, I know that. But basically, yes, Roy Herbert is now a grandfather. His daughter gave birth to twin daughters. That part I didn't know of, but hey ho, there we go. More white children, the merrier, I would say. But yes, congratulations to Rory Herbert for now officially becoming a grandfather, and of course, congratulations to his daughter for the birth of her children. So yes, massive congratulations to that. Absolutely exciting times. And yeah, really good stuff. Really good stuff to hear. Woodlander's in the chat. Thank you very much, Woodlander. Thank you very much for watching. So yes, again, congratulations, Rory, with that. Thank you very much. Yes, I just want to quickly title Albus in the chat. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to open up Twitter or X, whatever it's meant to be called now. I'm just going to call it Twitter because it still has the layout of Twitter, and that's and people still call their posts tweets and all of that. So I'm just gonna call it Twitter. So I know people are gonna correct me and saying like, "Oh, well, it's technically called X." I don't care, right? I'm calling it Twitter. All right. Anglo-Saxon, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So yes, I see more people coming in, like 14 people watching, which is really good to see. Again, thank you all very much. Now then, let's get right into the show itself. Actually, before I do that, sorry, I'm gonna post a couple of things in the chat, even though I think they're already in the description box. But I'm just gonna post my PayPal link. Oh crap! Hold on. Speaking of PayPal, Rory Herbert has received £3 from Rory Herbert. Rory, thank you very much for your kind generosity, for your donations. And that's also the thing I wanted to bring to attention real quick. So I'm still working, thankfully. I still have my job. My job at the moment, however, has been pretty quiet at the moment here. Is and the two major reasons why it's been pretty quiet is mainly, as they said, mainly because of deliveries and weather. Because I think it all ties into the overall wider UK and not just here in Scotland. So that might play a part in it. So because of that, that means like no work, which of course means no money, which absolutely sucks. Now, I'm doing okay at the moment, but what the point I want to make just now when it comes to that is it would be it would be grateful if you can maybe to kind of help out a little bit when it comes to like any money received tonight that would go directly towards travel expenses kind of a thing, because I used to get lifts up to work here and there, which made a lot things a hell of a lot easier. But my colleague, because of this uh, I guess you would say this whole lack of work that came about. I guess that because he wasn't really a fan of that, he decided not to show up to work anymore, which is sad because he actually was a pretty good guy. But I can understand that he's looking for work or he wants to work, but he can't exactly, you know, do the work and not, well, not doing the work and of course not getting paid kind of a thing. And I can definitely understand that because even though I'm full time, he's like agency at the moment, so of course that kind of plays into that fact, which again is sad, but yeah, but even then, with that, I have to, of course, take public transport now, mainly a bus, which it is beneficial because it goes like kind of one way, but the problem is I have to get up like really early in the morning for it, like to the point where I have to wake up about 3:30 in the morning so that I would walk up to my nearest town, so then I would get the bus from there to the location where my job is. Um, yeah, and it is a lot easier traveling back up from my work back home, but yeah, that's usually the current situation at the moment. Now, sometimes I would mainly work on a Saturday or Sunday, but the only way at this point on is I would have to take a taxi up, and of course, taxis are not exactly cheap when it comes to that. So, which is why I'm actually thinking about maybe speaking to my work and say, at the moment, hey, is there any chance I can maybe change my dates from Friday through Tuesday and maybe do the regular Monday through Friday? I think not only would help me out a little bit, but I think it would be maybe a bit better in my opinion because maybe I'm old school when it comes to jobs, but I've always prepared yeah, prepared. No, is that no? Preferred, sorry. Yeah, I've always preferred the classic Monday through Friday shift pattern. Of course, 6 in the morning to 2 p.m. Again, that might be a bit daunting for some because it might be considered tiring after a while. But hey, you finish at 2 p.m., you get the whole rest of the day to yourself, basically, which is quite ideal compared to when I first started working there. It was 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. So again, getting back there was not a bother because I got a lift up there, but still, it was like no, I prefer the morning shifts when it comes to that. But anyways, but again, Rory, thank you very much for your £3 donation. I'm just going. In fact, that was what I was going to do for my phone. Wait a minute. I'm going to get my PayPal link. I'll post it in the chat and then I'll pin it as a pinned comment for the chat as well. So just bear with me just a moment here. I should have done that before the show started, but again, it's me be me. So let me see. Yep, there's the link for it, and then I'll post the link. I really hope I'm not going to catch a cold, because today I was working in the dispatch section and it was really, really cold, to the point where when I got there, some of the guys were there saying like, "Well, it's good that you got like a jumper or underneath that t-shirt you're wearing, because where you're going to be working today, it is pretty cold, so do be prepared." And I'm like, okay, but I was expecting it to be cold, but I never expected it to be like that cold type of idea. But it's done now, so. And yeah, it was pretty cold. So, because I think it also kind of makes it worse considering that we're now in June. I think, yeah, June. The weather is getting a little bit warmer, kind of, but maybe not to the point of where it really should be, in my opinion. But anyways, maybe that might affect it. But I hope I'm not going to be getting a cold from it. But anyways, that being said, folks, there is the PayPal link in the chat. I've also pinned it in the comment section there. So again, as I mentioned, it would be grateful if you can maybe chip in. Again, please, well, it sounds a bit bad saying that, but chip in if you can, and of course, don't feel as if you have to. Please, if you want to donate, you can when it comes to it. Again, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I'm not going to lose any sleep or anything like that at all. So any donation received would be greatly beneficial and would help me out for a little bit when it comes to that. I would say maybe for this week, maybe half of next week. I don't know, but again, if you can donate, that would be great. But if not, again, no worries whatsoever. I'm not going to lose any sleep or anything like that at all. Thank the Lord, I'm in Carlisle. Anybody have the Thunder earlier? Not where I was at. Funny enough, I got told with where I was working, the weather was actually meant to be actually pretty good all throughout the day. I mean, it was, to be fair, but there was a point where during my second break, the rain was starting to come on. It wasn't like heavy or anything like that at all, but after I finished my shift at 2 p.m., it was bright and sunny anyway. So I think it was only maybe for like a maybe a sprinkle here and there. But anyways, but no, I've not had any thunder and lightning. Actually, seeing that, I think there maybe was some thunder and lightning. Well, not lightning, but thunder. Maybe was that last week or the week before? Now I think of it, because there was a point. Or no, maybe it was actually a few weeks ago. Now I think of it, because there was a point where it was again really good weather, but then it gets really cloudy, and then you hear thunder, and I'm just like, what the hell is all that about? But anyways, so I think maybe I currently no, but maybe a few weeks ago I did. But yeah, that's the main thing when it comes to that. Rory, I only donate via PayPal to for the Otis fund. That's fair enough. No worries. But Otis is doing well. He's just chilling. Excuse me. He's just chilling out in the neighbor's house, just next door. So hopefully he might come along during the show. But again, we'll just need to wait and see. But yes. But Otis is doing fine. He's being looked after. He's getting fed and all that. He is definitely. He's been treated like a prince. As my mom or my mother would do, kind of thing. So, 15 degrees here. That's November temperature. Yeah. I never actually checked what the temperature is over here. Actually, but anyways, it's kind of like in the middle, in my opinion. It's like it's warm, but it's not too warm. I think maybe humid might be the right term, or I don't know. But anyways, let's move on from there, right? So we're almost like half an hour into the show already. That's crazy, right? Let's start off with a couple of things. Now, I want to look at Twitter just now, and this was something that was brought to my attention by No Chance and also from Resisting the Lies, but I'll cover that in a moment. But we'll focus on No Chance's post about Tommy Robinson. Now, if you have Twitter, well, even excuse me, even if you don't have Twitter, I would imagine that this would be up on Telegram as well. But basically, No Chance made a post about Tommy Robinson recently. In fact, I think actually it was today. So what I'll do is I'll just share my screen just now. Let me see. Do you live with your mom? Uh honestly, uh no, to be honest, when it comes to that. So it's a bit strange because I do have my own house, which of course being here, she just comes over and visits from time to time. She mainly does come over whenever she needs help with Otis being looked after at the moment, which is something I've noticed since when did we first? Well, when did she first had Otis? Maybe no, it wasn't. I think it was either start of last year, or maybe the year before then. But since then, she has been coming to visit a lot more. But that's only because it's just to help out, have me help out, look out after Otis, that kind of an idea. So, but to answer that question, no, with that. So, but yes, let me just share the screen real quick, and then we'll get started. So, this is a post from No Chance again. Let me see. Also, yes, a share system audio because again, it's a video footage when it comes to it. Chief, really don't dive too deep into it. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. Let's see. So here is Twitter. I'll also hide this. So this is No Chance's post, and it reads: Tommy Robinson admits he's only discussing population replacement to take power away from the quote unquote extreme anti Semitic right. He's also writing a book updating the white minority by 2066 prediction to 2044. However, his focus is solely Islamic immigration and their birth rates. So here is the video, which I believe it was from. Yeah, I think it's not like necessarily a live stream on Twitter. It's one of those what do they call it on Twitter? It's like a so I don't know the term of it, but basically, Tommy Robinson went live on Twitter as all the other content creators normally do. I don't do that on Twitter. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Twitter is really a good platform to maybe do live streaming on type of idea. But anyways, here is the footage in question, and then we'll go over it as well. So again, it's only about like just over 30 seconds long, so we'll just play the whole thing and then we'll talk about it. So
discussing that.
oh, right, just back to the beginning. So 3, 2, 1.
Population replacement argument is an argument that needs to be spoke about by mainstream people in Great Britain about immigration, about the fact it needs to end now into immigration and take the power away, because the only people who were discussing that really at a vocal level were the real extreme right, who and the anti-Semitism coming from the real extreme right, and it's actually celebrated from them, and many of them, and I wouldn't say they hold power, any of them. They are fringe people. The population replacement argument is an argument that needs to be
Oh,
spoken
that was
about
it.
by
Right.
mainstream.
Okay. So yeah, that was pretty much it with that clip. So I'll just come back onto here. So yeah, there we go. Ochai San's in the chat. How you doing, Ochai? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Hi, me and my audience are watching together Ochai Channel 3. That's no worries, but thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So yes, what you've just seen there was a clip of Tommy Robinson talking about the migration problem that's going on within the UK, especially the demographic changes we're seeing in the country, which you're seeing that all across the board. As a lot of people in our sphere are talking about, the Overton window is shifting towards the right, which I definitely do agree. I think there's a lot of people do believe the idea that the Overton window is definitely shifting, and people are just fed up with what's going on with the mass migration. There's now a massive push for the political campaigns going on just now for the 4th of July. I've even where I live, there's the big push for the Alba Party going on just now, which is it's a party that was like former SNP members. In fact, I think even Alex Salmon is a leader of that party. But basically, they were former SNP politicians or members, but then they were dissatisfied and just fed up with the SNP and then just decided to just move away and form their own political party. Of course, there was a bit of well, not a bit. There was a scandal between Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon that was going on at the time, and I'm not going to delve too deep into it because I think I pretty much I think I remember covering that at the time on my show. But anyways, it was a scandal nonetheless, and they decided to form the Alba Party. So now, when it comes to people like Tommy Robinson and Sargon of Akkad, and you could even say Nigel Farage and the like, talk talking about demographic changes and what's going on with the country, you think that would be a massive, like, oh, like, this is great, this is fantastic. Like our talking points are being presented to the general public, which it is, and is a great thing to see that. But to hear Tommy Robinson in that clip talking about how, oh, well, we just want to take away from basically we want to talk about the demographic changes and all of that, but we want to take that away from what he calls it the extreme anti-Semitic right. I mean, he didn't call it the extreme far right as what the mainstream media would call it, but he's calling it the extreme anti-Semitic right. Like, okay, Tommy, whatever. um, but for him to say that, I mean, it just really goes to show where they're not priorities, but where exactly they stand when it comes to that fact. They themselves know that people are talking about the demographic changes. I know there was a massive protest that happened. What was it, last week on Saturday, or was it the Saturday before? I was watching David Clues's show, Unity News Network, about this, and yeah, it was a massive turnout. And again, I give props to Tommy and co for doing that protest, but at the same time, there was just this like civic nationalist type of like talking points and view of the whole thing. Like, well, we all have to remember that Islam is the major problem. It's like, look, guys, Islam, as much as I don't agree with Islam, I think Islam has no place or business being here, and not just in the UK, but all across Europe. But Islam isn't, or Muslims are not the fundamental problem. I would say the best way of describing that would be they're a symptom of the problem, but not the problem. What's going on just now? Streaky Bacon, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation, and inshallah to you too. Speaking of Muslims, but yeah, and even I was even going to mention as well that protest. There were speakers there. Sargon gave a speech, the type of speech which I was quite surprised of, because I was like, I was listening to his speech and I remember thinking, like, that's the kind of speech you would hear Laura Towler would make. That's like a Laura Towler type of speech, and that just goes to show that people are listening to our talking points, and maybe people are actually agreeing with that. But again, people like Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, and the like, what we all know about them is they are the masters of gatekeeping, and they're seeing this, and even their bosses higher up from Tel Aviv are definitely seeing this too, and they really are trying their best to just get people to not go over to our side completely, but stay in the SIFNAT position. Well, oh no, guys, don't go over there. Like, no, it's not these people. No, they're not the problem. No, it's Islam, it's Muslims. They're the problem. You see, like they're fundamentally the major problem in our country just now. It's like, again, guys, I would say, and a lot of other people would say that they're what was it I said? They're not the fundamental problem. They are a I can't believe I forgot what I said, or even describing it. They are the, damn it, the symptom of the problem, not the main problem, but they're just a tiny symptom of the problem. And even when it comes to immigration, again, most of their law always talk about, well, we need to get rid of the illegals, but if you come here legally, then that's completely fine. It's like, no, like, we want immigration completely shut down at the moment. That goes for both illegal and legal immigration. We want to put a stamp on and close the borders with that. Is it Lemsip time? Do you know what? I still have a packet of Lemsip, so I hope that's not a sign of match with catching the cold. But if I do catch it, I do have Lemsip just over there, so maybe I can. Well, if my cold, I really hope it's not catching on to me. But if it does come along, then at least I got that as a backup to help me out, kind of thing. So, but yes, that's that when it comes to Tommy Robinson. Again, it's good to see that our talking points are somewhat becoming more and more part of the mainstream. That being said, it's been spoken by again the SIFNAT MAGA Nat, whatever you want to call that. And again, the whole thing is that they're just gatekeeping when it comes to that. But anyways, yeah, Chi-san, I'm leaving now because I got to get back to my audience. I'll watch the archive. No worries. Well, thank you very much for popping in, and I hope your show goes well. And thank you very much for tuning in. Let me see here. So, just checking the chat. Stephen Shea, I don't think I've seen you before, but thank you very much for watching. Who are you voting for? Yeah, that would be to do with the general election on July 4th. To be honest with you, I think I did spoke about this on the show before, but I'm just going to spoil my ballot paper. I think at this point in time, I know people are going to say, like, well, what's the point in doing that? Again, it's still a point to make that none of these political parties share my core beliefs. None of these political parties really represent me or people like me at the end of the day. So I'm just going to basically still, so in a way, cast my vote by spoiling my ballot paper. So to answer your question, I'm not going to vote for any political party. I'm just going to spoil my ballot paper. I think that's what many people should do, in my opinion. Even though, again, people might think, well, what's the point in doing that? Again, that's still a point to be made that, look, these political parties here in Scotland do not represent the general public. Nobody is in favour of all the stuff that's been put forward by the SNP, the Greens, the Lib Dems, Labour, and even the Tories for that matter. So, yeah, I would definitely advise people to spoil their ballot paper if they can. Now, that's actually a perfect segue into this next part we're going to be talking about. Now, this video on YouTube came to my attention by resisting the lies. Now, I'm just going to see if I could find his channel real quick. And I know he did a stream about this, but I want to talk about the individual video he uploaded onto his channel, resisting the lies. Wait a minute, by of course, it's DJ's channel, of course. Let me see here. Right, just gonna find that real quick. Now, this video, I believe this was it was one of those I think it was on the BBC or ITV or one of those channels, or maybe STV now I think of it. But it was meant to be a debate between all the political parties here in Scotland, and what would they do, this and that. One of the questions that were brought up was about immigration, and what mainly with this question, this was first aimed towards the SNP and what would they do about said immigration. Now, I'm going to again share the screen for you guys, and then we'll watch this video together. Now, this is from Resisting the Lies. This is that clip there. Again, give them a follow if you can. And also follow No Chance if you can. That would be ideal as well. So, this video is titled "We Need Immigration Because of Declining Birth Rates." This is this guy right here who's a member of the SNP. Let's have a look and see if we can have a look at this. Now, I've watched this morning, and even in my tired state, even I couldn't believe what I was listening. I was like, wait a minute. This is supposed to be the Scottish National Party, a political party here in Scotland that's for Scotland, for the Scottish people, basically a party for Scottish nationalists, is essentially. Well, let's have a look at this video, and you can tell that that's no longer the case when you hear the words coming from this gentleman's mouth. So we'll just play the whole video in its entirety, and then we'll talk about it. So 3, 2, 1.
Immigration is absolutely essential to our public services, it's absolutely essential to our businesses, and it's absolutely essential to our economic growth. And what we need to do is end the demonisation of migration. In Scotland, we have a declining working age population despite a net number of people moving from the rest of the UK to Scotland. We need migrants. And this race to the bottom on migration, driven by Nigel Farage, followed by the Conservative Party, and hotly chased by the Labour Party, does not serve Scotland's interests. And it does not serve your interests either. So rise up against it. Do as Keir Starmer did in 2020 and talk about the benefits of migration, its importance to our fundamental aspects of life.
To be clear, any voter in Scotland who wants lower immigration should vote for other parties.
I think any voter in Scotland who wants to impact our economy, impact our NHS, should vote for the parties who want to cut migration, which is the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, and Nigel Farage. And this is a consequence of us being led down the garden path by the right wing in British politics for far too long. We need to stand against it. We need to promote our economy, promote our public services, and to do so by promoting migration. Migration is...
There we go. Absolutely unbelievable. That was from Resisting the Lies, of course, from his chat, or again, DJ. What I'll do is I'll post the link to that video in the chat, and then I would say give that video a like, and also subscribe to DJ if you haven't done so already. Definitely give him your support. But yeah, just absolutely unbelievable. I listened to that this morning, and I even at that point I just couldn't believe it. Like this is the current state of the Scottish National Party at this point. I want to emphasize national because the whole point of the SNP, right? The core idea of the Scottish National Party and how it was formed, at least from what I've read and watched and all of that. The whole point of it was a political party that was for the Scots by the Scots. It was meant to be a political party that was given the idea to the Scottish people that, look, Scotland is a nation for the Scottish people. It's our nation. We shouldn't have England or Wales or Northern Ireland to tell us how we should run things in our own country, especially when it does tie into the idea of independence. And I know that it's been talked about to death at this point, and I know, in fact, even mentioned that that was almost 10 years ago, that vote, because that was back in 2014. We're now in 2024. But once we get to September, that will be the 10th year anniversary, which again is absolutely just crazy to think when it comes to that. But yes, sorry, as I was saying, the whole point of that was that, of course, that we as the Scottish people, and of course with our country, it was meant to be, we were the masters of our own country, the masters of our own destiny when it comes to that. And Scotland, basically, again, Scotland for the Scots, essentially. But I think ever since the Scottish independence, right, and even back to that referendum, right, I will admit, I voted for yes at the time. And I was I was an SNP supporter back then. I very was a Scottish nationalist even back then. Maybe not to where I am now as an ethno-nationalist type of thing, but it was more of a from the perspective of like a civic nationalist type of thing, or maybe even like a normie perspective type of idea. But back in the independence vote that was going on at the time, and of course the big push for that between the yes vote and the no vote, I was going to be voting yes, regardless of when it comes to that. And in some extent, even now, I know there probably some people might ask me, where do you stand on the independence vote? At this point in time, and this is just my opinion when it comes to it, but I do believe that Scotland should be an independent nation. But if Scotland were to become an independent nation, it needs to be an independent nation. It shouldn't be the idea of what the SNP and their supporters really want us to do, which is Scotland becoming an independent nation, but rejoining the European Union. Which no, I'm sorry, that completely just defeats the whole purpose of Scotland being independent, because what they're basically asking for is for us to leave one union and move over to another union. The European Union, by the way, you can make an argument that is far more bureaucratic and most of the people that go into the European Parliament, we don't even get a chance, a vote to say on who goes in or not. Like, again, say what you want about the Westminster government, the whole United Kingdom government, right? It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but at the very least, when it comes to that, at least you can maybe give your chance and or on who to vote in, type of thing. Yes, there is an argument recently that happened with the SNP and the Tories, how like most of the people that were selected to be the new prime minister or the new first minister mostly were people that voted for those people within the party. In fact, even back when Hamza Yusuf, well, even before he became the first minister of Scotland, there was talks about, even though the general public were not getting a chance to vote, which I don't understand. Well, actually, I think I have an inkling as to why. I probably might have spoke about this before, but there was multiple choices. The two major choices, of course, were Hamza Yusuf and a woman whose name I've completely forgotten, but she's I guess the assistant to the current First Minister of Scotland at the moment, John something. But yeah, but it was between those people, and there was a point where a lot of people actually resonated with this woman politician. I believe she was from the Highlands, or her constituency. But yeah, there was a lot of people that really liked and supported her. But of course, being the SNP and of course the Scottish government wanted to be all progressive and all of that, of course the vote went towards Hamza Yusuf. So he became first minister. We all know how well that turned out. So, but yes, but just yeah, it's just. It was just complete shambles, to say the least, when it comes to that. But going back to my argument when it comes to that, but yeah, at least with that, besides what I just mentioned, at least you kind of get an idea on who's going in or who's getting out or getting kicked out, who you voted in, who you voted out, kind of an idea. But with the European Union, you never get a chance to vote or even have a say on the matter. Like there's people that go into the European Parliament and then they could just tell us on how to run our own country, which again, why, if you're a Scottish nationalist, why would you be up for that? That's something that they criticize, well, especially England for doing that. Like, oh, England always tell the Scottish people how to run their own country. No, they don't. We have our own government. We have the Scottish Parliament at the end of the day. And just like, I was even thinking about this when I watched that video. This idea of like the rise of the demonization of foreigners and the rise of the right wing. Like, mate, Scotland has always been a liberal country. The two major parties historically, the whole of Scotland has voted for in, are either Labour or the SNP. The Conservatives have never gained power in Scotland. Never, even to this very day, have never gained power as the primary party. That's the leadership party within the country. Yes, there are some locations here in Scotland that do lean more towards Conservative than Labour, but at the end of the day, the majority of the country has always remained to vote for either Labour or Tory. Oh, no, sorry, Labour or SNP, and never have the Tories get into the Scottish Parliament in any way, shape, or form. Well, so in terms of, as I said, like a leader type of party, that's pretty much running the country essentially. Never had that here in Scotland, and I just. So that question, I believe that the question given to, again, it was meant to be for like everyone on the panel, but that gentleman from the SNP was the first to be asked about the question. And again, this is something that a lot of people just that actually think about this, because look, we're going through a massive increase of immigration. There's a lot of jobs that are being taken over and lost of jobs. The wages are not doing too great, because again, it ties back into the whole immigration problem going through just now. Same thing with jobs at the moment, and this idea of, oh, the declining birth rate here in Scotland. Well, in order to counter that, we need to uh, import more people from the third world to help build the economy and all of that. Well, again, if you are an actual Scottish nationalist, why would you say that? Why would you even support anything like that? I will never understand that, because at that point in time, you're not a Scottish nationalist. If anything, you're a Scottish globalist. That's what you are. Uh, the declining birth rate that's rapidly declining over time. Oh, we need to bring more foreigners into the country. Like, how does that help us? Why not encourage the idea of couples, or maybe, like, again, Scottish people, white people, to maybe, get together, be a couple and start families? Well, we all know why they would never do that. Again, it all ties back into the overall anti-white agenda that's going on just now, with the decline in birth rates, the increase of abortions and all of that. I mean, it's all part of that plan. It's all essentially part of it. And it's really frustrating, because what absolutely frustrates me even more is the people, even you've seen in that, or you listened to in that clip, this idea of, oh, well, these immigrants or these migrants help build the country and then blah blah blah, and you hear people just applauding to that. Like, why? What have they done for the country that normal Scottish people haven't done for the country? I don't understand that. Why is it that we have to import from the third world, and not maybe do the same by teaching the younger generation, who are going to be moving from schools, moving into adulthood, and of course getting into the job sector? Why not have them encourage them to be the next doctors, the next lawyers, the next business people, or businessman or woman, or, well, businessman. Let's be honest here. Here in Scotland, but why can't we do that? And another argument, a lot of these people who support migration and all of that would always bring up the idea of, well, if these migrants leave, then who's going to make my doner kebab? It's like, really, of all things, that's your major concern. If we were to close the borders, if we were to actually put our foot down and say, look, no more. We are not having any more of these third worlders into the country because of all these other problems and all these reasons for why they come over here. Because look, at the end of the day, they come here to take advantage of our system. Okay? They don't like us. They're not fans of us. They don't want to. They don't want to speak our language or even learn our language. They don't even want to integrate into our society. They actually want to come in here and just benefit from the stuff that we give them, essentially. Mr. Myrtle, thank you very much for watching. I make my own kebabs. They are much nicer and cleaner. Well, there we go. Well, see, that brings up another point. I think there was a celebrity or a comedian, Rowan Atkinson, I think, once said it best. Yeah, if we have the ingredients, then why do we need these people here? If we have the ingredients, then we don't really need them here, do we? So, because I've always wanted, there was something that I wanted to make a point about when it comes to, like again, being part of the topic when it comes to migration. Or if we get rid of them, then we're no longer going to have your doner kebabs and all of that, right? I want to ask you this then, haggis. Do you really need a Scottish person to make haggis? And that's a legitimate question to everyone in the chat and people watching. When it comes to haggis, do we really need Scottish people to make haggis? When it comes to spaghetti or lasagna or anything of the sort, do we really need Italians to make those types of foods? Do we need the French to make baguettes or croissants or anything like that at all? Do we really need those types of people into the country to make those types of foods? And if the answer is no, then why is it that it's a completely different when it comes to these migrants, these third worlders into the country? Well, we have to keep them here because not only do they help build the economy, but they also bring good food as well. First off, there is no economic argument to bring these people here. There is none. I'm sick and tired of people using that argument of, well, if they leave, it's just going to completely bankrupt the whole country. No, it won't. We will be. People need to realize that Scotland and England and a whole of the UK, right before the mass migration happened, the whole country was actually doing fine before these third worlders came into the country. This idea of like, well, we need these migrants because it's just going to completely collapse the whole system and it's going to jeopardize the economy. It's absolute bullshit. Nobody believes that in any stretch of the imagination. But again, that's all because of the past. We were all doing fine before these migrants came into the country. It's Anglo-Saxon. Haggis is Pakistani national dish, bigot. Right. Then I would imagine then if that's the case that a chicken tikka masala is like, I don't know, like maybe Welsh or English. I guess. But I know you're joking when it comes to that, but again, it brings back that whole overall argument, doesn't it? It brings back the whole argument. So, but yes, we need to stop, like, especially here in Scotland. Like, I don't understand it. Like, why is it? Why are people in my country that are so hell bent on helping and being friendly and all this and that with these third worlders, who, by the way, as I mentioned, these foreigners don't like you. They don't care about you. They just care about their own. Like, why are they so hell bent on, my people? Why are they so hell bent on helping those people but never want to help our own? I will never understand that. I really don't understand that. Are there hills in Pakistan? Dear. Yeah, it's really frustrating, to say the least. It really is frustrating. But I mean, that clip alone, that's the type of clip that not only does that speak volumes of the SNP and why people should not vote for them, but I think even DJ even said it in the video that, or on his stream, I should say. That's the type of video you should show to the average SNP supporter or voter or anything like that at all, and just tell them, look, if you really claim to be a Scottish nationalist, why do you support a party by this guy who openly states that, well, if you don't support the SNP, then you basically don't support immigration. All right, cool. Then I guess I won't vote for the SNP then. Like, that's basically him telling people, yeah, well, we're supporting immigration regardless of what you may think. We believe that if you're a migrant and you come into Scotland, then you're automatically Scottish. Then we're going to be supporting that. And if you don't, then, well, you're a bigot and you might as well vote for another party. All right, well, I guess I'm a bigot and I'm going to vote for another party. Then what? Like, then what? Like, they really are not doing themselves any favors here. They really are just making themselves look worse and worse and worse. And this is not even Hamza Yusuf being part of the party anymore. Well, I don't think he is part of the party anymore. But even still, but the fact that my people, the Scottish people, still support that and applaud that, like, oh, these migrants that do a lot for the country. In what way? What benefits do they bring to the country? I really want to understand that. I mean, the only thing I can think of what these people would bring up is, well, the food. Well, again, we have the ingredients. We don't really need these people here. We have the ingredients. We can just make the ingredients by ourselves, right? And but we need people in jobs. Okay, but we can teach that to our own people. But the problem is our people actually have a sense of worth. And if you were to make the jobs maybe much better, more accessible, sorry, and maybe even encourage people that, look, if, yeah, come to work and maybe have the whole job situation much better and more palatable to the general public, maybe then that might actually solve the problem. And of course, with the decline in birth rate, again, as I stated before, encourage people to get together, start a family, again, the old school way. But we all know that they're not going to do that because it's all part of the anti-white agenda. Which, again, these are the same people that will say, well, that's a far right conspiracy theory. Well, if that's the case, why is it that you encourage immigration and want to bring these third worlders into the country? I don't get that. I really don't. Well, I do understand that, but it's frustrating to say the least when it comes to that. Now then, moving on from there, it is coming up to 6:30. I think I'll go on for another half an hour. But what we'll do now is we'll get into the next part of the show, which is, of course, the Q&A section. So just now, if you have any questions to ask me, anything at all, you can feel free to ask me a question in the chat. It could be, as I said, anything at all. What we'll do is, in the meantime, is I think I will pop the PayPal link again, just in case, because there's still plenty of time to send a donation here on the show. Again, if you want to, when it comes to that, I'll just pop that in the chat just now. One sec. I keep disappearing from my chat as my internet is gay. That's from Streaky Bacon. Oh, that's the wrong link. Sorry, 1 second. There's the link I'm looking for. My PayPal link, right? 1 sec. Pop it in the chat. And there we go. What does Q&A mean? Questions and answers. So it basically is your typical question time session type of thing. Mostly you see that from a lot of content creators. I think some of our nationalists do that on their shows. I think Mark does that on his show PWR for like the last hour, but that's mainly for like super chats and all of one. So, but yeah, Q&A section. Ask your question in the chat. So if you have a question to ask, please feel free to ask me in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. Chat smash real quick. With the great success of nationalist parties in Europe, where does that leave Mark's view that elections in the UK are closed to nationalists? PA still not registered is just not good enough. Well, I'm quite surprised of the amount of I'm quite surprised of the elections going on all across Europe, actually, with these successes of these types of nationalist groups. So while I'm happy when it comes to that, here in the UK, I don't know if maybe that. Well, see, I don't know, because I'm just a bit shocked in seeing some of the elections that are going on all across Europe. So maybe that might help out the general public to maybe ease their way into nationalism a little bit more, because, as I said at the beginning of the show, the Overton window is clearly shifting. So if other countries in Europe are doing that, so maybe we'll possibly might do the same. As with the, I mean, I don't know when it comes to Mark's view. Again, that's Mark's opinion when it comes to that. I'm sure maybe his opinion on it might slightly change. I don't know, but when it comes to PA still not registered, I mean, look, we're definitely trying our best when it comes to it, but the Electoral Commission are just not making the whole thing easier when it comes to it. And I think there's talks about again getting. We'll definitely keep on trying when it comes to it, but it's definitely not been really easy, to say the least, because the Electoral Commission are doing everything they can to stop us from, of course, being a registered political party. Homeland did it straight away. I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole Homeland or PA thing when it comes to that, because I know there's been a lot of stuff said when it comes to that, but the one thing I will say, and this is just my opinion when it comes to that, right? You can take it or leave it with this opinion. I'm not want to try to start drama or anything with that at all, but again, this is just my own opinion when it comes to it. While it's good to see Homeland being registered as a political party, I do think it is a bit strange that Anthony Borrows, right, who was a member of PA but then went over to Homeland. It's a bit strange how at the time he was one of the people that was behind PA trying to get registered as a political party, but of course that failed. But then he goes on to Homeland, but then that gets registered almost straight away. I think that, to be fair, they got registered when they tried to apply it the second time, but even still, I just think that's a little bit strange. It's like, well, what was different about Homeland, but you still deny PA type of thing. That's that type of idea. Again, that's just my opinion. I'm not wanting to start any drama or anything like that at all. That's just my opinion when it comes to that fact. When it comes to it. Anyways, in fact, was there a question that breezed through? 1 second here. From Anglo-Saxon, yeah, Chief Radio, will Farage make a dent in the election? I think so. Yeah, I know there's like a big push that Nigel Farage is now the leader of the Reform Party. I've said my piece about Reform, and I know a lot of people in our sphere have said a piece about Reform, of just what a complete cuckold party they are. But that being said, I think Farage will make a massive dent within the general election. I think I'll even make a point about this. Again, it's not my original point. I think I've seen this from somewhere else, but I think Farage, being the leader of the Reform Party, will definitely make a massive dent on the Tories. That way, it would lead into people voting for Labour. I don't know if that will be the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if that actually were to be exactly that, if it were to happen on July 4th. But again, only time will tell. That's something we'll just need to wait and see when that does happen. So, but yes, I do think he will make a massive dent in the election. 1 second, I'm just going to grab my drink, and then we'll have a look into the chat and see more questions. Oh, crap, I'm spell it. There we go. Really needed that. It's hailstorming now in Carlisle. Anyone else got it? Not where I'm living. Not. I don't know if we'll get that later on, but probably not. Anyways, Streaky Bacon, Galloway and Farage will cause disruption, and that's good. Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. I mean, George Galloway and Nigel Farage will definitely cause a massive disruption on the whole general election. Again, I don't know if that might be the case, but I would imagine when the general election happens, it will definitely lead into the a dent for the Tories, and then more people would vote for the Labour Party. So let me see here. Are you a hipster? No. When it comes to like, do you know, it's funny about like growing up, because I remember when it comes to that, I think currently speaking in my life, I think I would be more like a geek type of person. Well, not a nerd, but I say geeky to be quite honest, but no, not a hipster, nothing like that. And it's funny because I remember growing up back in my like high school days, which is making me sound really old. I remember I used to be. I don't know if maybe you would get this all across the UK or anything like that at all, but where I lived and growing up, we had all kinds of like subcultures, like hipster. I think hipsters maybe kind of came along maybe later on, but at the time we had emos, which of course was at that point the modern day version of goths. We had emo, we had the prep popular type of kids and all that in my high school. We also had again like Neds, or the chavs as you English would call them. Here we call them Neds, or non-educated delinquents. And lastly, I'm sure maybe there was maybe geeks or nerds type of people. You would normally see that in schools or in high school, anyways. But the other culture, and I think I would maybe apply myself to that at the time, was the mosher scene. So moshers were like people who were into like rock music, maybe get into like mosh pits and that, hence the name mosher kind of thing. But not that I do anything like that at all, but I would listen to a lot of rock and roll music, and I really wanted to really wanted to grow my hair long, because I noticed my friends who I still see today, they had managed to grow their hair long. I don't think even they were necessarily moshers to be exact, but they grew their hair long. But I tried to do that, but the problem with me at the time was my hair doesn't grow downwards; it grows upwards, and I'm sure. I think there's still an image of me back in high school that that had that long hairstyle, and it's yeah, it's crazy to with that. Even I would remember I would get into heated arguments with my mom at the time. Would always ask me, like, would it kill you to, or will not ask me, but she would say to me, would it kill you to maybe cut your hair? And I'm just like, no. I was just a young teenager in that kind of rebellious phase in my life. Um, and I just refuse it. I'm like, no, like whatever what I do is my way and all of that. Looking back at it, it was absolutely just cringe, of course. But that I think that everybody tends to be like that. Like there was stuff you did as a teenager you either regret or just cringe at the fact, like looking back on it. But yeah, that was me at the time when it comes to it. I think there's like a lot of questions come through. Wait a minute. I'll read this one from Thank the Lord. Is your head on upside down? I don't think so. Has that to do with the hair and the beard, but no, it's not. It's not. um. Oh, I'm right there. From Anglo-Saxon, Chief Brady Mark Collett will never be allowed by the Electoral Commission. Wanker's thoughts. I mean, as much as well, I'm not sure because on one hand, I think that would be absolutely bullshit that he would not be allowed to be what was it? He would never be allowed by the Electoral Commission because look, there have been members from the BNP who have formed their own political parties and they managed to get elected just or get registered just fine. I think that's absolutely bullshit that Mark Collett this idea that he's never going to be allowed to be registered as a leader of a political party, right? Or even having the political party be registered as an official political party. I think that's absolutely bullshit. I can see the points being presented that well, Mark, was part of the BNP and he was like quite a prominent member within the BNP. At that point, it's like, well, you saying that, but you might as well say that to almost every significant figure who was a member of the British National Party who are now in PA or in other political parties. I believe in the National Housing Party UK or in Homeland or I'm trying to think of other nationalist groups. Basically, you can make that argument to all these other nationalist groups, and you think, well, why do they get registered as a political party but not PA? And when people present the idea of, well, it's probably because of Mark Collett and his past with the BNP, it's like, well, you might as well say that to almost every nationalist who was a member of the BNP. It's just absolute bullshit when people try to make that argument. But yeah, let me see here. Where was I? Rory Herbert, real quick. Chief Brady, as you are aware, it was Sam Melia's birthday yesterday. Laura mentioned that HMP Hall couldn't photocopy them quickly enough. God damn it. Sorry, one sec. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, yeah. Couldn't photocopy them quickly enough, so they delivered the originals. We are making a difference. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know there was a lot of people that were really pissed off with what happened to Sam, that he was not allowed to see his kids or even talk about his kids or even mention his kids. But the fact that that's all been turned around because of public outcry, again, it really goes to show that even just community stuff like that really does make a difference. And it's good to see that that's been turned around. And of course, speaking of Sam's birthday, yes, it was his birthday yesterday. In fact, I did send out a birthday card to him by me and of course PA Scotland When he'll receive that, I'm not entirely too sure because I didn't have a stamp on it, first class stamp or anything like that. Couldn't get one or even couldn't afford one. So I hope he does receive it and I hope he does get it. I'm sure Laura will mention it to me that, oh, Sam received your card. He's really thankful. Sorry, excuse me. He's really thankful for that. So I just need to wait and see on that fact. So. Let me see here. Strong beard game, Chief Video. Thank you very much. I need to get it shaved at some point. So again, not to shave it, but just to trim it. You just to kind of tidy up a little bit. Rory Herbert, Chief Booty's hair grows like his wallpaper flowers. Chaz Smash, Mark claimed he was taking electoral commission to court. What happened? I believe he still is planning on taking them to court. I think is what it is more to do with like other things are going on at the moment. We got other stuff planned. We're obviously because some of the guys. Sorry, just one minute. At the moment, because of the general election coming up, some of our guys in PA are helping out with the English Democrats. Is it? Yeah, English Democrats with the general election. So we're of course helping out with that. We're also doing other things like the camp and of course, the upcoming PA conference. There's plans on other protests of what are they called? It's not on the spot protest, but a flash demos. That's what they're called. Yeah, we're planning on doing stuff like that. And I think also when it comes to Mark, I mean, I can't really say for certain, but maybe it's also other personal matters that's going on just now, especially with them. And I know what was happening with Sam Milia, of course, being in prison, and of course, Laura has to take care of her two kids at the moment with that. There's just, I think when it comes to that, there's just a lot of stuff going on just now. But I do believe that Mark is still planning on taking them to court at some point. When will that be? Honestly, I'm not entirely too sure, but I think he is still planning on doing that. But just other things are going on just now at the moment. Hashtag this question, right? What's your thoughts on the Homeland Party? Right. So I have talked about the Homeland Party before on my show, in terms of after the split had happened and all of that. And I did say, and I still do believe this to this day, that I still have any ill will towards anyone who've left. Again, I wish them all the very best of luck when it comes to that. I'm hoping that all of them are all doing okay when it comes to that, whether it's with politics stuff or even just personal matter stuff. I hope they're all doing fine and doing okay with that. So, but with the question of what are my thoughts on the Homeland Party, I have a feeling I'm going to get shit for saying it. Right, it's nothing bad, right? But I'm just going to be honest when it comes to it, right? In my opinion, with the Homeland Party, I just think it's basically patriotic alternative 2.0. That's why I honestly think of it. I think Homeland Party is basically patriotic alternative if Kenny Smith was the leader of patriotic alternative. But again, and the reason for that being is because of what I've seen from their own demos, their demonstrations, their activities like hiking and all of that, banner drops and the like, and leafleting sessions. It just kind of comes. I know the other nationalist parties do some similar things as well, but I just think with the Homeland Party, in my opinion, it just kind of comes off as PA 2.0. But again, that's just my honest to God opinion when it comes to that. That's what I genuinely think of that matter. So yeah, again, no ill will towards anyone in Homeland, but I just think Homeland are basically a PA 2.0 in my humble opinion when it comes to that fact. Let's see. Anglo-Saxon Chief Rudy, did UKIP sabotage the BNP back in the day where they were surging? I believe Mark talked about that. I think even was it Joe that talked about that, or was it someone else? I'm thinking, but I do remember hearing stories when the BNP were becoming a bigger political party at the time, and UKIP were just coming around. And I think there were talks, there were mentions of UKIP being this, in the sense that the UKIP party were basically what the Reform Party is now, in a sense of like all these national parties are coming along and they're gaining a lot of attraction, a lot of support from the general public, and here comes another so-called nationalist party, but basically it's like a CivNat type of party that are trying to gatekeep all the talking points and trying to get the general people to come onto their side rather than the BNPs, or in this case PA side, or any nationalist party for that matter. But I think that maybe there was a bit of sabotage back in the day with that. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there'd be something similar going on with like the Reform Party, or even with Tommy Robinson and crew, in my opinion, with that. But to answer that in short, yes, I do think there was a bit of sabotage then. Streaky Bacon, Mark is fucking amazing at debating. I have never seen him lose an argument. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, I'm sure he might have another debate at some point. I don't know when, but that would be really interesting to see. Saying that, I really want to have another debate with someone, whether it be, maybe a leftist, but maybe someone on the CivNat side. That would be a good shout. I definitely want to have a debate with someone from that camp, from the CivNat crew, or anyone like that at all. I really am up for another debate when it comes to that. Thank the Lord, I was BNP, not ashamed to say. We tried our best in Carlisle. We had sometimes standing for every ward. They were crapping themselves, more stories than I could write in a book. Fair enough. Streaky Bacon, thank that was a response to thank the Lord. Thank the Lord, gotta go. Have a great night. Oh, sorry, we'll catch up later. Good luck. Oh, thank you very much for watching the show. Thank you very much. Let me see. Invite them on to speak for themselves. I would imagine that's to do with the Homeland Party. I mean, if they're up for, I'll see if this for when it comes to that. If they would like to have a chat, then I don't see why not with that. So we'll see. We shall see. We will see. Anglo-Saxon, I've donated to Laura and Big Sam and will continue to do so. That's fair enough. Any support for them would be greatly beneficial, of course. Let me see. From No Chance or Clive, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. I'd say they're well organized and professional. I respect both PA and Homeland. Again, that's completely fair enough. What I've said about Homeland, again, that's just my opinion when it comes to that fact. But that's your opinion, and again, that's completely fine. We're all open for opinions with that matter, and that's completely fine and dandy, folks. No worries with that. So. Yes, Chat Smash, I agree. UKIP reform just pressure valve. Indeed, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mark is a good debater. I agree with Streaky Bacon with that. And that's me up to date with the chat. What time is it now? It's 10 to 7. 10 minutes to go. So yeah, I'll give another 10 minutes for any questions to come through, and then we'll end the stream there at 5 to maybe like 3 minutes to or something like that. But yeah, the show will end at 7. I'll know that much. But yeah, still another 10 minutes to go. If you have a question to ask me, please feel free to ask me the question in the chat. Still wish to send a donation, you can still do so in the chat as well via PayPal or buy me a coffee. Let me see, one sec. Whoops. How many seats do you reckon Reform will get? Oh, that's a good question, because despite everything that has happened with the Reform, I think that's more to do with like the leadership at the time. There's still plenty of people that do support the Reform Party, which I mean, I don't understand why you would want to support the Reform Party after their cuckolry. But in terms of how many seats they will get, I don't know. I really have no idea. It just really depends on whether or not if people will actually go out and vote for them. But then again, Nigel Farage is the leader, so I'm not going to say it as a specific number, but maybe they will gain some seats. Maybe. Streaky Bacon says, I reckon 4. Yeah, I'm reckoning. Sorry, excuse me. I'm reckoning maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 seats. Now it might be a bit of a stretch, but maybe around about between that number with that. Yeah, I do think they will get some seats, no doubt about that, because Nigel Farage being the leader of the Reform Party now. Streaky Bacon, yeah, Steve Laws is sound. He is turning more right every time I hear him. Yep, indeed. Well, to be fair, I thought he was already on our side anyway. But I mean, it's cool to see that he's becoming more and more on our side. But anyways, Clive, last week they predicted 3. Yeah, I can maybe see that. Maybe I can maybe see that, but maybe it will be between 3 or 6. Well, right, maybe 3 or 5 seats. We'll say that. But I do think they will get some seats during the or after the general election. I do think that. Anyway, we're just gonna have a quick look at my Telegram. Whoops, one sec, one quick. Telegram. No, nothing going on. That's fine. No worries with that. Fine and dandy. Okay. Streaky Bacon, Chief Pretty. In my view, Steve was a bit Sifnat a few years ago. He was. I think Steve was. I don't know if he himself was like a Tommy Tard back in the day, but he was. He did lean more towards the Sifnat side of things, but he has becoming more and more red pilled throughout the years. So yeah, I do think he is maybe he may be what was it? Maybe the same. Lost my train of thought, but yeah, basically he's becoming more and more red pilled throughout the years. Weren't you and Steve was at the same PA? I'm assuming you're referring to the like one of the conferences, and if that's the case, then yes, that would have been. Was it the October conference of 2022 or 2023? But basically, I did see Steve Laws. Steve Laws did give a speech at one of the conferences, and I actually did get a chance to meet him and speak to him for a bit. And I will be surprised. Well, I was actually pretty surprised when I met him because I didn't realize how tall he would actually be. He was like maybe over 6 feet tall, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I never expected that. Early conference 2023. Maybe it was that one, I think. No. No, I think it was maybe that was a conference, I think October of 2022, because that was before the split had happened. But most of the guys who were in Homeland now, but who were part of PA Scotland at the time, they were pretty much there at that point. But yeah, saying that, I never expected Steve Laws to be that tall, but it was nice to meet him and, of course, to speak to him during the conference. So hopefully I'll meet again at some point in the near future. Maybe I'll have him on the show at some point. I don't know, but if he's up for it, then that would be pretty cool. Let me see here. What was I? From Alt Christian Man, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Farage is not our guy, but he is helping to dismantle the Tories. If he can do that whilst making the idea of deportations palatable and in the mainstream, then that has to be a win. I can see that. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, we can criticize Farage and co for being gatekeepers and all of that, but when it comes to that, it does help people lean more towards ethno nationalism side. Because as I talked about my story of from being a Sith Nat to an ethno Nat, I started off being a Sith Nat by, of course, watching Sargon of Akkad, Count Dankula, Tommy Robinson, and the like. And even, of course, watch people like Nigel Farage. And, of course, throughout time after time and seeing stuff from Mark Collett, Millennial Woes, Mike Penovich, or Mike Enoch at the time, all those other people that were around during the alt right, if you want to call it that, or the ethno nationalist sphere. People like Sargon and Tim Pool and all that, there definitely are the gateway to proper nationalism or ethno nationalism. So, yeah, I definitely think it would lead into people digging into the further rabbit hole, if you will. So, yeah, I do agree with that in some way. When we had it down south, Chief. Yeah. Mm. That's definitely the game, yeah, with that. Roy Herbert, I signed the electoral form for my friend Jeff Taylor last week, who has 193,000 followers on YouTube. He's standing as the parliament. I'm going to butcher the word. Sorry, parliamentary candidate on the 4th of June. I thought it'd be the 4th of July. Anyway, for UKIP, do you think that he has a chance? I'm not sure. Maybe, but I'm not entirely too sure. Considering the fact that UKIP are also a pretty cucked party, but I mean, maybe, I don't know, but only time will tell when it comes to that. But I'll say this right. I wouldn't be so, because I'm not entirely too sure who Jeff Taylor, actually, the name kind of rings a bell. Wait a minute. Jeff Taylor. Wait a minute. Oh, that guy. I'm still subscribed to that channel. Yeah, it's that gentleman there. If you can see on my screen. Yeah, that dude. I mean, do you think that's a chat? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, but then again, it's not like a guarantee type of thing. So again, I think it's more of a case of only time will tell with that, but we'll see. Is this true? Anglo-Saxon Macron has called a snap election. Can Marine Le Pen win? I'm not sure, and that's quite a surprise for me. Um, Nigel is a right-wing Tory. Don't trust him. Streaky Bacon follow up with that. Yeah, Macron shit himself, and he will be out in France. I see. I mean, again, all these political parties are gaining traction all across Europe. I mean, it's good to see. But I hope that definitely means that Le Pen will win that French election. So again, we'll just need to wait and find out. Because yeah, Macron is definitely not looking too well in France right now, in terms of like politics. It really is crumbling around him, and people are just fed up with this bullshit. Let me see. All right. And also, there's a mention of Sensum Communum, who will be streaming at, I think streaming later on. And speaking of which, that is 7 o'clock. So that means that will come to the end of tonight's stream, which, yeah, that's now an hour and 30 minutes in, which is really good to see. So, yeah, I think I will end the stream there. And that's going to be it when it comes to that fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate everyone coming along. Thank you for listening to my takes and my rants. Thank you for the questions that have come through. And also, Rory, again, thank you for your £3 donation. You still can send a donation through if you want to. That's all when it comes to that. So any donation received will be greatly beneficial. What was I going to pull up just now? Oh, yeah, right. One sec. Let me see here. What time is Sensum streaming tonight? Is it 8 o'clock? I think Anglo-Saxon mentioned that in the chat. 1 minute. If it's 8 o'clock, then I'll just mention then, yeah, watch Sensum Communum stream at 8 p.m. I think it's 8 p.m. If you want to watch any more nationalist content just now. And that'll be that. So yeah, in terms of episode 206, I think I should be streaming. He normally streams at 8 p.m. Right. Well, if that's the case, check out Some Communum stream later on tonight and give him a watch. In terms of more episodes of Mood of the Nation, they will be coming out. Yeah, so Mood of the Nation episode 206, that should be this week on Thursday, because again, I normally I'm off work on the Thursday, so I'll probably be streaming then at 6 p.m. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated with that when the time comes. So, but I should be back this Thursday, and any updates, again, I'll keep you guys posted and updated with that as well. And yeah, that's going to be it for tonight's episode. So, time to cook a curry and rice. Then that sounds pretty appetizing, streaky. But anyways, nice one, Chief. See you at a lot of Sense Community at 8 p.m. Well, hope you all enjoy Sense Community stream. And yeah, that's going to be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this song that I'm going to be playing for about 14 times throughout the show. And that's I'm sure I think people might know the song when I bring it up, but I'm going to be playing this song all I think maybe actually no, I don't think it was 14 times. I think it was going to be up until episode 214. Even mentioned that I think people will actually know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'll play. I'll have this song as the ending theme of the show up until episode 214. And yeah, but I think people might know what it is. Anyways, that will be it for tonight. Thank you very much for coming along, and I hope to see you all on Thursday. Again, any updates or anything like that at all, I'll keep you guys posted on both Telegram and on Twitter. So definitely follow me on all those other platforms. And that is sorry, folks. I'm just waiting for this media player to get put up. There we go. Right, one sec. Okay, that's ready to go. Perfect. Okay, well that's that, and I'm just gonna get this banner up here. Banner up here. Perfect. So that will be that. And again, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your week and the rest of your evening. Enjoy Sense of Communum stream when that's on. And yeah, see you all next time. Take care and good night. Take care.